Hey there, it's Kristen from Ardani Farm, and I just wanted to talk to you guys real quick about the pros and cons of some enrichment grazing activities that I've been noticing on the farm as we head into early spring. So we're currently late winter, early spring. We're getting into spring-like weather here for southeastern Virginia. We're having sunny days and cool nights, which is a recipe for super high sugar grasses. We are working towards having a grass-free track on our property, and we're grass-free up front and where I can close them off, and then in the back we are transitioning. So you can see there's still pockets of grass that the horses have access to kind of in the corners, whereas the main track that they spend most of the time walking on has pretty much been run over. And I made the video earlier talking about how I spend a lot of time observing the horses and their behavior and thinking about what that means about kind of their opinions on things, because again, their behavior is the only thing that we have that allows them to communicate with us, right? So we do have full hay nets. We have full hay nets in the back and up front, and the crew is out here grazing and scavenging, foraging on the little bits and bobs of grass that is available. Now, I think there's pros and cons to this. Number one, in the pros, as you'll notice, if they were eating at hay nets, I'd be seeing a lot less movement. It is really hard to replicate the natural grazing patterns that horses have using hay nets. I promise I'm trying, and it is a struggle. It takes a lot of time and effort, and using multiple hay nets put out lots of times a day, not all the way full, to try to encourage this movement, and I'm still just not getting what they naturally do when they move and graze like this. So on the plus side, I'm not wholly against this enrichment style grazing because it does add movement, and I do firmly believe that there is a sugar movement ratio. Horses that are doing endurance work can eat a lot higher sugar foods than horses who are just pasture animals. Now, our horses are all just pasture animals, so I have to be really careful. None of them are out doing 30-mile, 50-mile runs or anything like that, so I am mindful of this. The con is that our track is currently overgrazed. This is by design. We're trying to go grass free, and we're kind of in this intermediary stage of that, but this is peak high sugar in terms of grass. If I was managing a traditional grazing facility, I would never have horses on this. This would be the exact opposite of what I would be striving for in a pasture management standpoint. So I am watching these behaviors with kind of cautious approval. I have not pulled the ripcord panic button yet on this, but I'm supervising it. And if I start to see that we're starting to really ignore hay nets and we're not, eating the amount of hay that I expect, if I see that the hay nets up front are being ignored in particular, which is usually their go-to hay, I might have to get into more management strategies here. However, right now, the little bits that they have mostly eaten their hay allotment from last night. So each horse is getting around 20 pounds of hay per day, which feels right. And I'm watching them as they kind of nibble and move, and Belios is taking a break here and not eating. And so I'm cautiously allowing this, but it is on my radar as something to monitor, that as this grass really starts going in the next month or so, this is cool season grass, which again I'm in a grazing environment would not be advocating for metabolic horses in our transitional zone that we have here. But I do think there's something spooked them. I do think that there is some value in the enrichment, in the walking, in the natural foraging behavior that we're seeing here. So again, I'm not in panic mode yet, but it is something to monitor while we transition our pastures to grass free. And the lack of movement is something that kind of sends a flag for me about one of the shortcomings of a grass-free system that I'm still struggling with and still trying to overcome. So if you have ideas there, if you've done it well, if you went to a rotational grazing, I would love to hear from you about how you're managing to meet all of these needs, to meet the foraging needs, the movement needs, the grass-free, low sugar needs. It's a balancing act, and I think we're all working through it. I hope this helps. See you next time. Hey there, I just want to say this is about 5 minutes later, Kristen, and the horses have left the backfield and they're headed back up to nibble on their hay nets up front on our true grass-free system, and that makes me feel pretty good about things. So again, it's something I will continue to kind of monitor and keep an eye on, but again, the fact that they have kind of abandoned the backfield and they're back up here looking for their snacks in their feed bowls. I do that to keep movement going, try to keep them exploring and looking for things. They're back at their hay nets. I'm feeling okay about it. We'll see how that works out for me. Hope this helps.